We would invite all who would care to join us in standing in the recitation of the Lord's Prayer, followed by a moment of silence. Our Father,
who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen.
it is now 7 o'clock. Shelby City Council meeting is called to order. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Seated, please. Roll call, please, Mr. Trump.
Mr. Robb. Here. Mr. Roberts. Here. Mr. Cutler. Here. Mr. Martin.
Here.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Here.
I will entertain with a motion to dispense with the reading of the journal from January 21st, 2025.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Roberts and a second by Mr. Martin to dispense with the reading of the journal from January 21, 2025. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutler.
Yay.
Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Yay.
Mr. Robb.
Yay.
Mr. Roberts. Yeah.
That motion passes. Now come to the time for public comment. If anyone has any public comment to make to council, please come to the podium, state your name and address, and make your comment to council. Hearing none. We'll move forward then to reports from standing and special committees. Community and Economic Development Committee, Councilman Cutler.
Yes, Community and Economic Development met January 31st at 2 p.m. We didn't talk about a whole lot. Probably one of the biggest things is the CIC got a pre-planning grant for $20,000 that they'll be matching to look at what all needs to be done to the Shaw building as far as the rehab goes and what they can do to fix it up to be presentable. The other thing is we talked a little bit about library programs, and as always, they are just packed full the entire month of February with stuff. I'm not going to go over all this, obviously, but I would like to highlight something that was new that I thought was quite interesting. They're going to be doing boating courses there. So you have to have a license to drive a boat. You're born after, I think, 82. Anyways, they'll be doing boating classes Thursdays from February 20th to March 20th, from 6 to 8. Anybody's interested in that. And that's all.
Very good. Thank you. Are there any comments or questions from Mr. Cutler in regard to his report? I will move forward. Thank you, sir. Public Works and General Operations Committee, Councilman Robb.
The committee met on the 28th and covered a few things Mr. Gase brought to the committee. First was he informed us that the school board sold a piece of property to the city that adjacent to the fire department, the old fire department, and that sale was never recorded. And so the plan now is to get that taken care of, do a proper cleanup of those property records there, and put all that together, so we're in better shape to get that building moving. And hopefully that won't take too long to get that going. Another thing is the strategic plan discussion involved staggering council terms. This is something that came up in the past. Right now, the possibility is pretty slim, but it's possible that everybody at this table could be replaced at one time, including mayor, finance director, and that would kind of leave everybody in the dark, so to speak. One of the things that looking at is how to cover that, and one way to do that would be to stagger council terms, so that you would have 2 or 3 elected every 2 years. If you follow what I'm trying to get at there, that was tried in the past and failed. The voters turned that down. There was a little confusion in the language, I think, and I think a better putting it a little bit plainer may help with that. So that's something that's in the works, maybe. We had some external property discussion. One of the problems that we're seeing there is we have a property owner that issued a letter for a property violation, and they go ahead and take care of that, and then a few days after they clear that, they're back doing the same thing, and the question is how to handle that. And so the officer is looking for some language to cover those additional violations rather than just citing the person. You know, how do you deal with that? So he's trying to come up with some language. He gave us some sample language. I think it needs cleaned up a little bit, but you may see something on that here in the future. And Joe also informed us he's working with the engineers on the Mickey Road project for some sidewalks from Myrtle Drive to the reservoir. That's something we probably need to really have a good look at there, considering what we've had happen recently out there. Just walking in the road, it's a good idea. Now that money for that sidewalk project is not included in what's already been allocated for that, so it's something that we would have to come up with some funding somewhere on, and he's also working on that. And last but not least, zoning fees have never been changed since 1991, and there's a lot of expense involved in some of the stuff, and that would include postage and filings and so forth. So that's something that needs to be addressed, increasing those fees. Mr. Geis is also working on that, so maybe we'll see something on that here in the very near future. Report.
Okay, thank you, sir. Are there any comments or questions for Mr. Rob in regard to his report? I appreciate it very much. Move forward then to reports of city officials. Report of the mayor. I do want to say for the record that we are in the beginning stages of celebration of Black History Month, and we have the ideal opportunity in Shelby to kick that off with Charles Follis Day, which is today, February 3rd, celebrating the life and legacy of Charles Follis, recognized as the first African-American professional football player who made history right here in Shelby, Ohio. And so if you go to our website, there is information there. You can learn a lot about Mr. Follis and his exploits both on and off the field. And so we're very humbled to have a part in that, recognizing Charles Follis Day. And the theme for that celebration from the foundation, Charles Follis Foundation, is the power of one. The power of one. But what one life did in those early 1900s, how it impacted many, many lives for actually decades to come. So I want to recognize that today here in the city of Shelby. I would like to have the confirmation of the appointment that is listed here, and then I will deliver, as the annual duty of the mayor is, to deliver the annual report to council. But if I could have a motion and a second for the confirmation of Mr. Lifer. Mr. Roberts.
Move to confirm the appointment of Steve Lifer to the Income Tax Review Board for a term ending 12/31/25.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Roberts and a second by Mr. Martin to confirm the appointment of Mr. Steve Lifer to the Income Tax Review Board for a term ending 12/31/25. Discussion? Very highly qualified, for sure. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutler.
Yay.
Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Yay.
Mr. Rob.
Yeah.
Mr. Roberts.
Yeah.
That motion to confirm passes. Thank you. I will now present the City Council the annual report to Council, State of the City Address. Please allow me to preface this annual report with a few words of recognition and appreciation. I would like to thank the members of Shelby City Council for their dedication, careful deliberations, and spirit of cooperation. The progress that was made in 2024, in large part, is due to a City Council that is skilled in creating and passing legislation that puts Shelby on the road to stability and success. I want to publicly thank Mr. Joe Geis, our project coordinator, Mr. Brian Crum, our director of finance, Ms. Amber Cutlip, our deputy director of finance, Stacy Gunder and the City Hall staff members, Mr. Gordon Eister, our law director, Mr. John Ensman, our director of public utilities, Mr. Jerry Marshall, our park superintendent, Dr. Chala, Gillian Olson, Lisa Kilgore, and Sue Schenberger of our health department, and Ms. Jessica Gribben, our economic development manager. I also want to express my appreciation to Chief Lance Combs and Chief Mike Thompson for providing steady and stellar leadership in their respective departments. Both departments faced and overcame most unusual and dangerous challenges in 2024. I do not have time to properly recognize all of the men and women who make up the extraordinary team that serves the citizens of Shelby on a daily basis. I'm pleased to report to City Council that the city concluded the year 2024 on a note of strong positivity. Last year we celebrated a good many accomplishments, some of which will actually bear fruit in 2025. Please allow me to highlight some notable things that happened in the year 2024. In January 2024, Little Shops of Shelby held their grand reopening on East Main Street. Later that month, Avita Walk-In Clinic and medical offices opened their doors at 25 East Whitney Avenue. This impressive facility adds another layer of health access availability in our region. In March, the city administration hosted another Business First breakfast event at the Kehoe Center. Early spring saw Mickey Mart and Dunkin' Donuts begin to prepare for construction on Mansfield Avenue. In June, we held the dedication of the Kilgore Alleyway mural. Later that month, we were delighted to see the return of the Shelby Downtown Car Show. Late summer witnessed the ribbon cutting and grand opening of Ignited Ministries on West Whitney Avenue. A large crowd gathered for a grand reopening of Shelby's Louis Beach Skate Park in Veterans Park. We want to thank Arslan and Mittal for their wonderful contribution to this amazing project. In October, Park Village unveiled the huge interior renovation project of their entire residences. In late fall, Tesla batteries were installed adjacent to our solar field in preparation for the implementation of our 10-megawatt battery energy storage system. Ms. Jessica Gribben guided our city in a significant update of our strategic plan, which will help steer us in future strategies for growth. We finished the year celebrating with the Shelby Health and Wellness Center upon the completion of their major interior renovations of their Main Street facility. Looking ahead, 2025 promises to be a fruitful and event-filled year. We anticipate the grand opening of the Shelby Mickey Mart and Dunkin' Donuts on Mansfield Avenue. Doors could be opening for business in the next 4 to 8 weeks. There's a huge expansion in the works for a major business and industrial park. More details to follow. The transformational project in our northeast quadrant of town is gaining traction. A regional developer is looking to put together a modular home living center that could hold a capacity of 48 affordable homes. Additionally, the Shelby CIC is in the early planning stages for the redevelopment of the Shaw Building at Main and Gamble. The CIC was awarded Vibrant Communities Pre-Planning Grant funding to begin in earnest creating a redevelopment plan for that building. Shelby CIC is walking alongside the city and continuing the joint efforts of downtown revitalization, including planning for Phase 3 of the South Parklands expansion of the Black Fork Commons Park. Buckeye Superstore on Mansfield Avenue has a large expansion project on the drawing board. We expect to see activity this spring or summer. The East Main Street subdivision project is coming along nicely with the construction of 5 spacious and beautiful duplexes. Lloyd Rebar continues its phenomenal growth on Technology Parkway. Lloyd Rebar is a national leader in rebar fabrication technology. We are immensely proud of this homegrown business. Shelby Foundation is making a major investment in some key properties on the Upper West Square of Shelby. We cannot thank the foundation enough for leading the way in what transformative renovation looks like in a city our size. We are looking for the arrival of some final components of our 10 megawatt battery energy storage system in the first quarter of this year. This system will amplify our renewable energy resources in Shelby. As a nationally recognized Bee City USA, we look forward to working with local organizers for our first ever Bee Festival on May 31st. Mark your calendars. Be there. Okay, I just threw that in. In conclusion, I look forward to a new year where we can see tangible and measurable outcomes of true community and economic development in Shelby. I'm confident that by working together, we will overcome any challenges and realize our shared vision for a thriving community. May God bless you, and may God bless the city of Shelby, Ohio. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my report.
Thank you, Mayor.
Move forward from others. Reports from city officials. Mr. Brian Crum, Director of Finance.
It's going to be almost as long as yours. Pretty normal operations for this time of year. My department, wrapping up year-end reports and preparing for appropriations. And also the income tax department is collecting 2024 tax returns now. Reminder to either send your returns or stop down by City Hall before April 15th to get those filed. That's all I have, sir.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Crum. Any comments or questions for Mr. Crum in regard to this report? If not, move forward to Mr. Ister, Law Director.
Get the taxes done, or you'll hear from my office. No other report.
All right. Thank you, sir. I'll move forward to Mr. Joe Geis, Project Coordinator.
Thank you, Mayor. One thing I just wanted to go over tonight, previously council asked about what the cost of redoing Clark Avenue, the brick portion, of either rehabbing the existing bricks that are there or totally replacing. So I got in touch with this Brunstone, they were the contractor that does a lot of work down in the city of Mount Vernon, where they have a lot of brick roads. Basically, we picked a section that was the worst right there, about 400 square feet. And you see on there, that was gonna be $16,000. So what I did is I measured up the whole section or whatever. So that's about 11,700 square feet or $468,000 to. Now that is
bricks that are there are not gonna be able to be reused. Some of them are crumbling, or they would not be able to be reused. So that would probably be more getting finding bricks and everything like that. But, I mean, I think if we told them to go and do the whole thing, it's probably a little bit cheaper than $40 a square foot too, so I don't know if that's fair. We had our engineer come up with an estimate for, so basically taking everything out, putting in the proper base, putting in new curbs, and under drains on the side of the road, and that is a total of $300,000. I believe that's what council requested me to get, so I don't know if you got any more questions. Mr. Martin?
The 300,000, is that in addition to the brickwork, or is that encompassing?
That would be, the bricks would be gone at that point.
So it's if we decide to go the other direction.
Correct.
Gotcha.
Mr. Martin?
Now, you mentioned that this estimate includes gutters and all that kind of stuff. Does the $468,000 estimate, does that include that additional work as well?
No, the intent would be to leave, those are those old sandstone curves that stick out, so they would leave those there. If you're gonna keep the bricks, it'd be nice to keep the historical curves that are there too. Mr. Martin?
Then the last page we have here says $250,000 estimate. What is
And then you've got, on the front page of that, you'll see the engineering cost and contingencies. Well, the engineers on the other part, but there's 20% contingency on there, to get you up to the 300.
so that's all one action.
Yeah.
The only questions I have.
Those are good, appreciate that. Are there any comments or questions from Mr. Geisler regarding his report? If not, we'll move forward to new business. We have a new business council appointment to the Community and Reinvestment Housing Council. We need one, Mr. Geisler. As part of our ordinance, council is supposed to select 2 members to this committee. Previously it was Mr. Gates and Mr. Rob. Obviously, Mr. Gates is not here anymore, so that we do need a meeting before April 1st, there's a report that I have to give to the state. So this group reviews all of the residential CRA agreements, makes sure they're in line with what they're supposed to be, and then makes an approval of them, then I send that minutes into the state. Mr. Martin?
Is there anyone of us that's wanting to?
You two? Mr. Roberts and Mr. McLaughlin? Mr. Martin?
Make a motion to appoint Mr. McLaughlin and Mr. Woods.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Martin and a second by Mr. Cutler to appoint Councilman McLaughlin and Councilman Roberts to the Community Reinvestment Area Housing Council. Discussion on those appointments? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutler?
Yay.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yay.
Mr. Rob?
Yay.
Mr. Roberts?
Yay.
That motion passes. Thank you, gentlemen. Any other new business to be brought before council this evening? I'll move to unfinished business, future use of Main Street Fire Station, as was reported by Mr. Rob. We want to get this paperwork all wrapped up and complete, and then I would feel more comfortable in writing the letter about that whole property of no longer having municipal use. So it can't be taken that long, right? You know, and one never knows. But moving ahead on that, that'd be the order of events. Any other unfinished business? let's make our way to legislation.
Ordinance number 1, 2025, amending section 258.01 salaries of members of council of chapter 258 elected official salaries of the codified ordinances of the state of Shelby.
Move the second reading.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Roberts and a second by Mr. Martin for the second reading of ordinance number 1, 2025. Discussion? May I remind everyone this has to be done by the 15th of February, and we won't have another meeting until after that. So, Mr. Martin?
Yeah, we had talked about that, so, if nobody has any questions or anything like that, I'll, move to, make this, ordinance by emergency, having all the necessary addendums and clauses, et cetera, to make it.
I'll second that.
We have a motion by Mr. Martin, a second by Mr. Roberts to amend ordinance number 1, 2025 to emergency fashion in all of the languages there to pass by emergency. Discussion on that. Mr. Martin?
Normally, we want to give us the full 3 readings, et cetera, but we're under that time crunch. The deadline is before we would meet. So there's, at this point, and the reason for the delay, I'll take ownership for a lot of that. The reason for the delay was that we were waiting on figures from the state as to the OPERS, PERS, because traditionally we've matched up what qualifies as 1 year service. That's where these figures kind of come from, and that's what we've done traditionally for the last 8 years or so. And so that we were waiting on that information, and so there's a little delay there. So my apologies on that. But I think it's necessary that we get this in to fulfill our statutory obligation.
Mr. Rob?
Do we not have to suspend the rules that would require 3 readings to pass this as an emergency measure?
Mr. Law Director?
Heard.
Okay. Mr. Martin?
Whether you need to, it's not a resolution, it's in the heading, but. Go ahead, sorry.
Mr. Martin?
I think if we pass this amendment, making it effective, the language itself, then we can make that additional motion to suspend the rules.
First take the measure that's on the floor to add all emergency language to this ordinance. And then I think subsequently, subsequent to passing that, then we'll pass the motion to suspend the rule of requiring. Horse charity.
Putting the cart before the horse here somehow. So.
Mr. Martin?
No, because traditionally we have the legislation is already prepared with the emergency language in it. What we're doing is we're putting the emergency language into the legislation, and then we will suspend the rules.
I see that too. I think, yeah, we're putting it in that emergency form, then we'll suspend, and then we'll vote. Okay. So this would be on the amendment to add the emergency language to ordinance number 1 to put everything in that emergency format. That's this motion we're voting on now. This motion to amend. Everyone clear? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutler?
Yay.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yay.
Mr. Rob?
Yay.
Mr. Roberts?
Yay.
That motion to amend passes. Mr. Martin?
Move that the rule requiring that ordinance be read on 3 separate occasions be suspended.
Second.
motion by Mr. Martin, a second by Mr. Roberts, that the rule requiring that an ordinance be read on 3 separate occasions be suspended. That is the motion for suspension. Discussion? This will be the motion on suspension of rule. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutler?
Yay.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yay.
Mr. Rob?
Yay.
Mr. Roberts? Yay.
And motion to suspend passes. Mr. Martin?
Move for the passage of the ordinance.
Second.
That's different than second, so the passage there. We have a motion by Mr. Martin and a second by Mr. Roberts for the passage of ordinance number 1, 2025. Mr. Martin?
Amended ordinance, right?
Yep, amended. For the passage of amended ordinance number 1, 2025. That was easy enough. Everyone clear? Roll call, please, for passage.
Mr. Cutler?
Yay.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yay.
Mr. Rob?
Yay.
Mr. Roberts? Yay.
Amended ordinance number 1, 2025 passes.
Ordinance number 2, 2025, enacting section 1296.19 solar energy systems of the codified ordinances of the city of Shelby.
Move for second reading.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Roberts and a second by Mr. Martin for the second reading of ordinance number 2, 2025. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutler?
Yay.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yay.
Mr. Rob?
Yay.
Mr. Roberts?
Yay.
Ordinance number 2, 2025 passes second reading.
Ordinance number 3, 2025, enacting section 1296.20 traffic impact studies and access management policy of the codified ordinances of the city of Shelby.
Second reading.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Roberts and a second by Mr. Martin for the second reading of ordinance number 3, 2025. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutler?
Yay.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yay.
Mr. Rob?
Yay.
Mr. Roberts?
Yay.
Ordinance number 3, 2025 passes second reading.
Ordinance number 4, 2025, vacating an alley that runs parallel to East Main Street between lots 103, 104, 105, 106, 1396, part of OL 45 SD5 and part of OL 48 SD2 within the city of Shelby, Richland County, Ohio.
First reading.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Roberts and a second by Mr. Cutler for the first reading of ordinance number 4, 2025. Discussion? Mr. Martin?
I was just going to ask Mr. Geis if he could explain what we're looking at on the diagram. I was trying to make head or tails of it, but it's always easier to get the explanations.
Mr. Geis?
So what the petitioners would like to do is, if you look at my cursor right here, the vacation would start right here. It would come right straight down. So their access from Main Street would still stay with this city alley back to this property. So the vacation would be from here to, I think there's a property line in there, right here. So this parcel would still have this alley here and access out to here. It would just be from this point over to here. This is the area.
Mr. Martin?
I know we had discussed the parking lot situation and, that going to the Mansfield Avenue building. Did we get any response on that piece of it, what the thinking is?
We did, we talked to them. The access would still be through this alleyway here off of Mansfield Avenue as it is now. So there's no other access coming off of any of the other areas, just this right here would be the only one.
Smart.
I guess my concern is that is a 3-story office building. And how many parking spots are left for a 3-story office building?
Mr. Betts?
When we talked to the petitioner, they do own all this area here, which still could be parking there.
Where's that? Sorry, cursor.
Look right here, all these, I know those shots. So there's the big building here, they own all these here.
Mr. Martin?
This is a first reading, so I'm not gonna belabor the point, but it would be nice if we could get like an estimate of how much parking could be actually in that area. Because it used to be, right, where the store, the convenience stores, that was all parking belonging to that building. All that going back, and then all around land, that was all parking for that singular building. Obviously, the store's taken all that parking, and now we're gonna be eliminating about, half of the additional parking. It would be nice to know how many spots could actually fill in there, and if that fits any kind of recommended model for a building of that size. My issue is the long-term viability of that building and property. If you're trying to sell it to a development, who's going to buy it without parking? That's my concern.
Mr. Rock?
Who owns the lot to the east of Lamb's building?
Right here is various properties, same
The
thing.
same owner?
Yeah.
Okay, if that parking area went with the building which the one Councilman Norton's talking about, that was at one time, I believe, parking for that building also. And if you use that for parking, how would those people access the building?
Well, it would be, he owns both sides of this, so if this gets vacated, it goes to the same property owner. So this would just be this would just be part of this parcel right here.
Okay.
So really, this alley vacation isn't doing anything different for the problem that's there right now. The problem's there, once that other lot, the access is still, only access is still right here, and that is staying.
Mr. Martin?
My concern is twofold, is that now the initial vacation, they could come out or they could store their equipment there, they kind of do now anyways, but my other concern is with this vacation, then it makes those other two parcels able to be sold off for development, similar to where the convenience store is. It doesn't take someone, a genius to figure out it's probably the long-term plan for that space on Main Street, which I understand that, my concern, and it still remains. In those remaining lots outside of the vacation, how much parking? It would just be nice to know an estimate. How much parking would someone be getting, assuming that that's sold off for development on Main Street, assuming that, that property line, whatever, and then, so essentially in those three parcels, right? Yeah, those three parcels there, how much parking could actually get? It would just be nice to know that number.
Yeah, Mr. Crum?
I apologize for interjecting, but I thought of something else I didn't think of when it was originally reviewed, was we might want to ask the fire guys too about getting a ladder truck through there, because it's kind of a weird alley, with the Rite Aid embankment there in the building. So you might want to check with Chief Thompson about getting that, since it is a 3-story building, and think about that.
Sean, this is for the first reading of this ordinance.
Yep.
So we'll try to have some more answers and facts for next discussion. Any further discussion? This is for the first reading, ordinance number 4, 2025. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutler?
Yeah.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin? Mr. Rob?
Yeah.
Mr. Roberts? Yeah.
Ordinance number 4, 2025 passes its first reading.
Ordinance number 5, 2025. authorizing the mayor of the city of Shelby to enter into contracts with the International Association of Firefighters, local 2492, and declaring an emergency.
Move that the ordinance requiring the ordinance be read on three separate occasions be suspended.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Martin and a second by Mr. Roberts that the rule requiring that ordinance be read on three separate occasions be suspended. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutler.
Yay.
Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin.
Yay.
Mr. Rob.
Yay.
Mr. Roberts.
Yay.
I move to go into executive session for the following purpose: preparing for, conducting, or reviewing negotiations or bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation or other terms and conditions of their employment.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Martin and a second by Mr. Roberts to go into executive session for the purpose so read. Discussion? Mr. Martin?
And Mayor, if council approves this, we would ask that Fire Chief, yourself, Ms. Crum, and Ms. Cutlet, board members, accompany us.
Okay.
Thank
Gotcha. Want to invite the law director?
you.
Just kidding. All right. Any,
Yeah, it's a party.
any further discussion?
I'll be there.
Then roll call on the motion to go into executive session.
Mr. Cutler.
Yay.
Mr. Martin.
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin. Mr. Rob.
Yay.
Mr. Roberts.
Yay.
Council goes into executive session at 7:40.
Yeah, I know. I figure it's like, you know, it's not a good joke if it doesn't affect you.
Yeah. And that's what we get saluted for, right?
That's still one of the best parts.
Yeah.
One look.
Discussion a little bit?
Is the original developer of the modular housing that he's referring to, is that River West that we talked about? Is they still handling that? Okay, I haven't driven by it. Remind me what road that's actually off of again, because I know you
Off
see.
Second Street or Lee Street,
That's what it is, yeah. Yeah, it's been a little bit. I reached out to, I believe it was Tom Better. And we spoke a little bit a long time ago, but I didn't really touch base with them yet, so. Are they making some ground on it?
Yeah, they just got the minutes filed now, and they're still EPA and so forth, so.
Yeah. The last time I was out there, I mean, it was some boulders, but it was all just stuff.
Yeah.
I'm sure there's a lot that goes in.
Oh, yeah.
It takes a little bit to.
Oh, yeah.
Development, but.
Actually, 9 people actually watching this.
I looked up earlier and saw that, yeah, the beak, I was like, what?
Is that about the average? Am I allowed to ask? Is that about average?
Maybe 2, 3.
I don't think a lot of people in Shelby necessarily care about local
I was
politics.
just wondering.
I mean, even though we're just now being interested in it.
Yeah, during COVID, when we weren't allowed to come into the meetings, so the Ohio law says we had to make it
Live streamed, yeah,
live stream so the public can see.
that makes sense.
And we just kept doing it since then.
We had the same thing, I lived in Tippett before this, I've only lived in Shelby for a few months actually, and they had to do something similar, and they didn't do that before. Changed a lot?
Yeah, I feel like a lot of this is still kind of the Shiloh got rid of it. not long after I started going. They were using Zoom, and then got rid of that pretty quick. I see all sorts of different kinds though. Some use Plymouth uses Facebook, I think. But you cannot hear theirs where I have to turn it, I can't hear anyway, but I have to turn it all the way up. It's still hard to hear. Weather today was a pleasant surprise. So the weather today was a pleasant surprise.
Yes, it was.
Every day like this, I gotta work, unfortunately. That's just the way she goes.
I was just excited to see grass.
I had no idea that the Mickey Mart was gonna be quite to that scope. That thing is ginormous.
Massive.
I've never seen one like that.
Yeah, I guess Norwalk has got about the same thing. They're
Okay.
just opening theirs up.
I mean, I like it. It's pleasing aesthetically for sure.
I'm impressed with how fast they got it up.
What's that?
I'm impressed with how fast they got it up. I feel like we were driving past and there was nothing, and then suddenly there was a whole
Those
building.
guys out there working on Thanksgiving Day.
Were you saying that?
Yeah.
Is that zoning ordinance one, was that Lamb Construction's old building in Rite Aid?
Yeah.
Okay. I was trying to figure it out from the map, but has it been officialized that Dollar Tree's going in there?
Mhm.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they actually moved in, porta pot today for the workers.
Did they?
Yes.
Saw one of the lights on tonight, one of the security lights, I think. I knew Jessica had told me a while ago that they ordered signs, but
Yep. So you guys from town here, or?
Yeah, I've lived in Shelby my whole life. She just moved
I
here.
just moved here like 6 months ago, so,
Just decided,
Um,
interested in attending council meetings?
you know, I feel like I live here, but I don't know, I've only been here a little bit, I don't know much of the goings-ons and stuff, and felt like this was a good way to learn the goings-ons.
Very good.
What better way than have it all laid out right here?
Instead of Facebook?
Yeah.
We love our Shelby, Ohio since
Oh,
we're up here.
it's a very dangerous game.
Under Shelby, Ohio, truly uncensored.
Is there really?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
The people who went to war against Nikki.
Oh, wow.
We are still recording there, so. Thought I'd let you know. And there's 9 people watching.
Yeah, man. You gotta keep them out.
Sure, a lot of them do know who I am from Shelby, Ohio, uncensored.
Luckily, I don't have any social media, so.
Smart thing to do.
My screen time's like nothing. So we can.
It's tough. When you do a little screen, you're not doom scrolling.
I'm just messing with the dogs. I know better.
The whole thing
honestly good. We had been together as our extended family just a month ago for Christmas, but it was still good. Jake handled it, Ben well and all that, so they always treat us good. A little cold, but besides that, one of my mom and Scott lives in Florida now.
Who that?
Scott Young.
Oh, yeah.
And so the night of the calling hours, snowed a couple inches, so we were just giving him a hard time. My cousin was like, this white stuff is not sand, it's snow, if you remember it.
So when he graduated, he's probably about 82, 81.
Sounds right. I don't know all of my memory.
I remember it's in there.
Yeah, that's what one of the other uncles, Chris, was trying to tell us some of the younger great grandchildren. He's like, can you believe this is where we play basketball here? Because the luncheon was in the gym then after, so he was like, yeah, this is where we played.
Used to do everything there.
It's not board. I'm sorry if this is a dumb question, but is all this online too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, good, good.
Yeah, you can go.
Awesome.
Right here on our website, there's city council. Agendas are right here. And then this is where you can go, click and watch.
Okay, awesome.
This YouTube channel.
I just have a hard time reading there, and I realized I could probably pull it up on.
This YouTube channel's got all the meetings from way back when we started during COVID, so.
Awesome, okay. Thank you.
That's a funny thing, we talk sometimes too, at work about the different places that we cover and just kind of comparing city sites, because there's a world difference between some. Someone was trying to say they had a case for one of the worst ones they've seen in a while. I said, well, Shiloh doesn't have one, they just use Facebook. But yeah, there's calls involved with everything, so.
lively bunch over
We're concentrating.
You damn kids and your phones.
Sometimes you get lost in the rabbit hole.
Yeah, dog videos.
Gotta read about the news while at the place that's generating news.
What's that?
I said gotta read about the news while watching the place that's generating the news.
trucks. I've heard that every time the other day. Trucks, yeah, we fix them all. They even put new lights on the back of the vehicle, so that, you know, which one? Huh? Which one? Lights for the reverse and tail lights and all that. All, 32 or 31? 32. Really? Because somebody didn't know about it. I'm proud of the band that came up. Hey, can you do that? Hey, Mr. Butch. What was the one before? Mark, move it over, just touch it. Just touch it. Those lights are good. They're right. Are you gonna put a switch on 37 and on 32? Just say the words. How many more do I have to do? How many more do I have to say? Just write it up, please. Write it up. How many hours do we do? 4. Well, I got rid of that. Excuse me. One of this. On the radio speaker. I'm pretty sure that's the total one. I'm pretty sure that's the He's up here on camera. He's got him all along. Yeah, 16. Yeah. You want it? Rose House,
Let's go. Go up to the station. Invited you in, Joe, and I like that. Maybe we all have to really like it.
Do they all usually go like that? I'm at the yellow one.
Good night.
You too.
Shelby beat Lexington 61-24.
This one was at 37, 11 and a half. I think it's their pairing for their sectional game too.
Yeah, that's who they play.
Oh, a lot of grounds make up for the minutes.
Yeah.
Make it closer. When the girls are hitting their shots, they can put up points quick. That's how they're doing it.
Vito got offered from Columbia.
They'd be one, I think.
First team,
Good deal. He deserves it. He's been having a great year in basketball too.
yeah.
You know how it is, you have to activate the wall. Yeah. Makes perfect sense.
I noticed that happens if they don't dispatch.
Yeah. They're supposed to fix it.
Some places it's supposed to start, some places it's supposed to start with something on that far end. I self-dispatched it, and then they
have to, instead of just making the run, they have to actually put in the dispositions for the dispatch. But then that's what the dispatchers are doing. At the last,
yeah, that's what the email said.
but depends on who's working.
What's the matter now? Okay. Mr. Mayor, shall I turn this back on?
Yes.
We are live.
All right, council comes out of executive session at 8:46. We are considering ordinance number 5, 2025.
Blue North picked up and passed.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Roberts and a second by Mr. Martin for the passage of ordinance number 5, 2025. Discussion? Mr. Martin?
I just want to thank everybody involved for the negotiations, and glad that we've had a resolution, and we certainly appreciate, as the different, unfortunately, tragedies that struck our community, even here in the last couple weeks, have shown. We have a very good group of dedicated safety service officers and firefighters amongst us. I think that this will go a long way to continuing that in our city.
Thank you. Further discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutlip?
Yay.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yay.
Mr. Rob?
Yay.
Mr. Roberts?
Yay.
Ordinance number 5, 2025 passes.
Resolution number 1, 2025, approving the assessments for the demolition of a designated dwelling at 50 to 52 East Main Street and certifying said assessments to the Richland County Auditor and declaring an emergency.
Move the resolution be taken up and passed.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Roberts and a second by Mr. Martin for the passage of resolution 1, 2025. Discussion? We're good? All right. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutlip?
Yay.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yay.
Mr. Rob?
Yay.
Mr. Roberts?
Yay.
Resolution number 1, 2025 passes.
Resolution number 2, 2025, supporting the Ohio Municipal League's challenge of AT&T's tariff application at the Public Utilities Commission of Ohio and declaring an emergency.
Move the resolution be taken up and passed.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Roberts and a second by Mr. Cutler for the passage of resolution number 2, 2025. Discussion? Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutler?
Yay.
Mr. Martin?
Yay.
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yay.
Mr. Rob?
Yay.
Mr. Roberts?
Yay.
Resolution number 2, 2025 passes. Now comes the time for miscellaneous business. Any miscellaneous business to be brought before council? Mr. Martin?
First, I think before we meet next, Valentine's Day will happen, so make sure you don't forget that. But beyond that, appreciate the history of Black History Month, and I just wanted to say that we have a lot of great rich history within Ohio and concerns to that, and couldn't be more proud to count myself as a Buckeye in that regard. With that, I move council adjourned.
Second.
We have a motion by Mr. Martin and a second by Mr. McLaughlin for adjournment. Roll call, please.
Mr. Cutler?
Yeah.
Mr. Martin?
Yay!
Mr. McLaughlin?
Yeah.
Mr. Rob?
Yeah.
Mr. Roberts?
Yeah.
Motion passes. Council adjourns at 8:50.